Time now for Tradey Tuesdays with industry mentor Miles Primrose from BusinessSight. He's been mentoring trades and builders from across Australia for over 17 years. We're going to talk today about some of the key points that trades and builders can actually focus on to create a great business to get ahead of their competitors. And Miles joins us now. What are you holding?
It's a Plumb Bob.
Okay. Where did this come from, Miles?
I actually made it at tech school.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
That was a few years ago.
Yeah.
1984.
84.
In sheet metal.
Excellent.
There's a reason why I brought this in.
Please tell.
So, the trades and the builders that would be watching would know what a Plumb Bob is. And
don't patronise me, Miles. So
maybe, well, you would hope the apprentices would know if they'd had a good teacher.
What does it do?
So before the, remember when we connected on a spiritual level?
No.
Before the spirit level, there was a Plumb Bob. So you would get a Plumb Bob and a piece of string, and you would use that to actually get your line correct.
Oh, so it's kind of like, using something instead of a clock to see the sun. I mean, how long ago was this? So spirit level's really that new? Or
my grandfather, who actually was a builder, would use the Plumb Bob.
Amazing.
And then there was the spirit levels.
So how does that teach you if something's level?
Well, you've got to obviously when you make the Plumb Bob, you've got to make sure it's made perfectly.
Right.
That's the first thing. The second thing is you've got to tie it up a bit better than I've tied it up there.
Yeah, I was going to say it does not look very straight, Miles.
But once you tie it up properly, it should, and now it's not actually perfectly straight because I haven't tied it up properly, but it will actually be in a straight line. And you would actually use that when you're building the frame of the house to actually make sure that the frame's done properly. Now, the reason why I brought this in is not so much because of the Plumb Bob, but what I'm talking about is the evolution of trades and building businesses. So, obviously, the Plumb Bob will help you get the result you want for things being straight. But since then, it's become the spirit level, and then the laser, and so many other advanced things. And to me, for people to actually run a better business, they can't keep on using the tools they were using 3 generations ago.
It's a very good point. And also the other lesson from that as well that we often see is that the spirit level looks, feels nothing like that. So you can't necessarily take one thing that you've traditionally been using and continue to adapt it. Sometimes it's about taking a leap to an incredibly different technology like the spirit level, and then you can make the best possible spirit level you ever could, and then the laser comes along.
Absolutely.
Which has nothing to do with the building of a spirit level. So jumping across to new technologies not only keeps you ahead of your business, but you have to be prepared to completely look outside of what you're used to.
Absolutely. And look, there's to me, there's 2 types of business owners out there. There's the ones that actually they know that they need to keep on focusing on continuous improvement in their business, and they need to look at innovation and the new technology that's out there. And there's the people, there's 3 actually. There's people in the middle that are a bit on the fence, or unsure, and the other people have got their arms folded and say, no, I'll be fine, I'll stay here.
And you can understand that for a lot of businesses, that being conservative, getting to a position of it's working, they then get scared of changing. And I think we've all worked for businesses and seen businesses where they do that and then they stand still, and then they get leapfrogged by either a new technology or a competitor doing something completely different. You think how Apple has been able to do that to so many different industries, but we all know that eventually it will one day happen to Apple. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they'll keep making a better iPhone, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then someone will make something different, is my point. So I suppose you can understand, getting back to what we're talking about, why a lot of businesses would think the best thing is to stand still. What do you say to people in that position?
Well, see, I've almost got an Apple tattoo on my arm, but so we'll put that one aside for the moment. But the reason I show this is I wanted to have people really think about that. You can't be complacent, and you've got to think about, okay, if I'm going to stay ahead of my competitors, or at least get up to where my competitors are, I need to think about I really need to think about working on my business properly and taking it seriously, because you've got your tools of the trade, and then really these days your tools of the trade, which like my business offers, it's the same thing. It's like we're looking at what we offer our clients all the time. Every month we're looking at how we can do things better all the time. And it needs to be the same with the tools that they're using on the job site.
Talk about investing in your team, because a lot of the tools we're talking about that can take you further still require humans to be involved in them. So you might be at a trade show overseas or somewhere and see this brand new piece of technology that the salesman does a great job of saying, this is what it will do for your business. But then you've got to teach your business. And also you want your employees to feel like, and to have that ability to come to you and to say, I have discovered a new technology. I want you to have a look at this. Having that open-minded nature as well. Talk about investing in your team.
Well, it's funny, sometimes when I've got people in the workshop, you've got some business owners that they're so focused on actually meeting with their team once a quarter and talking to them about, development plans and things, and we help them set those things up. And there's some people that say, look, if I build my team up and I show them what they need to do to be the best they can be, they're going to leave. And I'll say to them, look, well, that could happen, but that might mean that you've actually possibly picked the wrong person at the start anyway. To me, it's about actually working out where do you want to take your business in the end, and who are the right people to actually come along that journey with you. And it could be that you actually look for people that might have run a business before, they don't want to run a business again, but they're happy to actually support you as long as you compensate them somehow along the way.
What would assist you? What is it about a personality of someone who has run a business themselves, who decides they don't want to do it anymore, that is attractive to you in terms of hiring them? What is it about that person's
Well, for a lot of trades, they've got the understanding of, there's the empathy of, hey, I'm coming on board, you're the business owner, there's going to be a lot more, support. There's going to be somebody to talk things through, and I believe the journey will be a lot smoother for the two people involved. So, and I've helped a lot of trades hire people for their team, and some of the questions I get them to ask them is, well, you've been in business before, why don't you want to start up your own business again, or to me, it's not. It's what they can bring to the table with the knowledge they've got, and also the desire to help you win. I suppose that's one of the main things.
What about performance-based bonus system as well as another way to try and keep your employees involved? Because one of the main reasons people leave, like you can invest in people, and we've all heard the saying of the CFO says, well, we can't afford to invest in them. What if they leave? And the CEO says, well, what if they stay? But what if the reason isn't about investing in them? What if the reason is situational change in their own personal lives, or, as it always often comes down to, they want more money, and they realize we are told these days that if you want a pay rise, you've got to leave your job. It's very unlikely that, and I don't know about you, but I've worked in organizations before where it is near impossible to ask for a pay rise. Organizations are now set up in a situation you don't even know who you would ask. So your boss doesn't seem to have any power, and your accounts department doesn't seem to have any power, and you can never find the CEO who knows what's coming and is being hassled by so many people. So how do you try to keep people with a performance-based bonus system?
Well, obviously it's a little bit different with a small business, with a trades or a building business. You obviously know who to ask, but I suppose with the person that actually owns the business, first of all, they need to set up a performance-based bonus, not on the financial side of things, but on outcomes. So outcomes could be a variety of things. Could be no callbacks, 0 accidents. It could be how you deal with the customer at the end of the job. It could be how tidy they keep the job site or the vehicles. It could be a variety of things. Now, one of the things, there's two ways to actually treat people through these outcomes. Something doesn't happen, and you can say, what the hell's going on? Like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this on time? And that's not very productive. But the other thing could be that you sit down with them and say, look, you're on this performance-based bonus system. You normally do a pretty good job. I can see you didn't get this result in the last month or so on. What's wrong? Is there something that I need to help you with? And actually be a bit more understanding. So the people that I'm working with that actually use that approach, they're getting a lot more of a better result.
Yep.
And the employee or the subby might be going, wow, who actually want to know what's going on, or and things, well, look, the reason it didn't work is because the weather or the equipment or the tools, there can be some things you can control and some things you can't control. So it's about how you actually communicate with your team and actually support them.
All right, we'll leave it there. And of course, big show coming up today. You've got a very special guest host, I understand, someone who you must have paid a lot to get him on your show.
Absolutely. I just really hope that guy turns up.
I'll be interviewing Miles later on in the program, of course, on his show, Trades and Builders, coming up a little bit later here on Ticker, so you can watch that. We will take a break. Miles, thank you